TPC Sawgrass is one of the most unique golf courses in the entire world. Situated 30 minutes east of Jacksonville in Ponte Vedra Beach, Florida, the 7,300-yard course is owned by the PGA Tour and has hosted the iconic Players' Championship every year since 1982. The course itself is incredibly challenging. Players must hit every shot in their bag. Tight, narrow fairways combined with dozens of strategically placed bunkers require a mix of fades and draws that are highly penalized if not executed correctly. Almost every single hole on the course presents some type of challenge, and holes 16, 17, and 18 form the best finishing stretch in golf, turning Sunday's final round into must-see television. TPC Sawgrass is also a public course, so unlike most events on the PGA Tour calendar, average golfers can test their skills against the world's best players by booking a tee time for the low cost of $550 in the summer and $750 in the winter. But that's not what makes TPC Sawgrass so unique. It is unique because former PGA Tour Commissioner Dean Beeman purchased the swamp-infested land for just $1. He then convinced legendary architect Pete Dye to design a course that tested players while also transforming the business model of professional golf. The PGA Tour now owns dozens of courses worldwide, enabling it to cut out the middleman and generate even more revenue. This single construction project led to billions of dollars in additional revenue for the PGA Tour. The course has a few unique features that vastly improve the spectator experience, and it was a true win-win for everyone involved, as even the previous landowners made a ton of money despite selling the 450 acres of land for just $1. Now, TPC Sawgrass was the brainchild of former PGA Tour Commissioner Dean Beeman, the second ever commissioner of the PGA Tour and a four-time PGA Tour winner. In the 1970s, Beeman had a problem. Nearly all of the PGA Tour's best events were played at private courses. So he wanted to build a golf course owned by the PGA Tour that could also serve as the host of its flagship tournament, the Players' Championship. Beeman initially tried to buy Sawgrass Country Club, which is located just outside of Jacksonville. The club had signed on to host the Players' Championship for 3 years, beginning in 1977, and the property was bank-owned following a recent foreclosure. However, a PGA Tour board member told Beeman to wait to purchase the club until the first Players' Championship was complete, presumably to see how players and fans liked it. A Florida real estate developer named Arvida Corporation then swooped in and bought the property from the bank right before the first tournament began, leaving Beeman and the PGA Tour empty-handed without a logical second option. Beeman tried to buy Sawgrass Country Club from Arvida Corporation right after they completed the initial purchase, but they said no. So Beeman told Arvida that he would build his own course nearby. The chairman and CEO of Arvida, Charles Cobb, laughed at the idea, even proposing a friendly $100 bet that Beeman wouldn't get the job done. This is where Jerome and Paul Fletcher come into play. The Fletchers were significant landowners in the Ponte Vedra Beach area, selling Beeman and the PGA Tour 450 acres of land for just $1 in 1979. The land was wooded with swamps and full of alligators and bobcats, but Beeman sold his board on the vision, and the sale was quickly completed. The $1 purchase agreement sounds ridiculous today, especially considering what the property became, but it was a win-win from the start for everyone involved. That's because the PGA Tour still needed to invest several $1 million into the facility to make it a legitimate golf course, and the Fletchers were willing to comply because the 415 acres of land they were selling represented just a tiny portion of the land that they owned in the area, with the idea being that if the PGA Tour built a nice golf course in the area, it would drastically increase the value of the remaining portion of land that they still owned. Beeman then hired legendary golf course architect Pete Dye to complete the project. Dye was specifically hired because he was knowledgeable about drainage from past golf course designs, such as Harbor Town Golf Links in Hilton Head, South Carolina. However, Beeman didn't just let Dye run with his own ideas. He gave him very specific instructions. Beeman wanted to build golf's first ever stadium course, using the elevation to his advantage to put fans above the action. Beeman wanted to look more like a baseball or football stadium than a traditional golf course, allowing fans to see several holes in various shots without ever walking more than 100 yards at a time. Beeman also told Dye that he wanted it to be a challenging course, requiring a mix of right and left doglegs so that no single golfer had an advantage over another. Dye was also instructed not to put 2 consecutive holes in the same direction, balancing out the potential influence of wind. Most importantly though, Beeman told Dye to make the final holes the most challenging, prescribing to the idea that risk should be rewarded or punished, and creating back nine drama on Sunday would make for better television. Beeman said to Dye, quote, "I want 3 finishing holes where if someone is leading and plays safe and someone is trailing and plays aggressively, and well, they can capture the tournament. I want a great finish, but if they play aggressively and make a mistake, they can blow up." Dye completed the course a few years later, and the first Players' Championship at TPC Sawgrass officially took place in 1982. The players hated it at first because it was so challenging, with Arnold Palmer and Jack Nicklaus missing the cut that first year. And the course is still a massive challenge to this very day. Here's what world number 1 Scottie Scheffler said this week on what it's like to play at TPC Sawgrass.
You can't fake it around this place. I think there's a lot of genius in the way the golf course is designed. There is some volatility in terms of the hazards. That provides a lot of volatility for how the golf course can play, especially in high winds. But at the end of the day, I think there's a lot of genius in the golf course. Like you look at a hole like number 1, to fade off the tee is a draw into the green. You look at number 2, it's a draw off the tee. 4 is a fade off the tee. 5 is a fade. 6 is a draw. 7 is a draw. It calls for different shots on each hole.
There is no better example of the difficulty at TPC Sawgrass than the 17th hole. Initially designed to be a par 3 that ran parallel to a small lake, the hole was almost entirely surrounded by water after excavation. But rather than altering the design, Dye's wife, Alice, convinced him to keep it. As a result, the island green on 17 has become one of golf's most famous holes. Since the PGA Tour started using shot length tracking data in 2003, more than 1,000 balls have been hit into the water at the 17th hole of the Players' Championship. That's an average of 49 water balls each tournament, and many, many more for amateurs. TPC Sawgrass has undergone many changes over the last 45 years. When the course was built in 1979, the PGA Tour wasn't flush with cash, and the American economy was in a recession, with interest rates reaching a peak of 17.6% in 1980. So Beeman kept construction costs low by instructing Dye to build a low-maintenance golf course. Dye was able to complete the course for less than $10 million in total. However, maintenance costs are now much higher than previously expected because the PGA Tour eventually moved its headquarters to Ponte Vedra Beach, on the same property as TPC Sawgrass. The Players' Championship is also now considered golf's unofficial 5th major championship, similar to Indian Wells for tennis. Nearly 200,000 fans attend the tournament each year to watch the world's best players compete. And if you're going to host a marquee event on the same property as your headquarters, it better be really nice. TPC Sawgrass doesn't have a special place in history solely because it was purchased for just $1. The reality is that Beeman was ahead of his time, creating a new business model for the PGA Tour. The PGA Tour has since expanded its ownership model, amassing a TPC network of courses that includes ownership stakes in over 30 golf courses worldwide. These 30 golf clubs are a mix of premier private, resort, and daily fee golf properties. Each course has hosted or been designed to host PGA Tour events. This provides fans with the opportunity to experience the same facilities used by professionals, but it also enables the PGA Tour to increase tournament profit margins by eliminating the middleman. Many of these golf courses also include luxury housing communities around the course. They have state-of-the-art training facilities for tour pros to use throughout the year, and Golf Digest says TPC courses brought in $142 million in revenue for the PGA Tour in 2022 alone. In the end, it's pretty wild to think that this all started with a $1 purchase of a Florida swamp. And the best part, the $1 check used to purchase the land that TPC Sawgrass now sits on is prominently displayed in the clubhouse for all to see.